What's up, everybody? So I wanted to give some insight on what I think is happening, and I'm not any way associated with the U.S. presidency or the federal government, or these are my opinions, and I handle my own. I'm the trustee and administrator of a private international trust and national trust in America under the USMCA treaty. So with that said, I want to tell you what I see as far as what Donald Trump is doing. So Donald Trump did what I actually did. When I started this road, I had to go into courtrooms, and I really had to go head to head with like the government in a tactical way to get them to speak so that I could draw them to the conclusions that, you know, I pass on in these videos. So this is what I see. Donald Trump is doing basically exactly what I did, okay? And that is, he is drawing those people who are nefarious, those people who are lying, those people who are frauds, and they're using this whole propaganda system out. He's doing it to the press corps, because the press corps is NATO's press corps and European Union's press corps. That's why they get to do propaganda. He is doing it to the federal government, the U.S. Congress. And you got to remember, most of these people in Congress, they're so dumb, they actually don't know that they are a foreign Congress to the United States that was founded in 1787. They are actually on a expired Reconstruction Trust that expired in 1965, but they think that they are actually the Congress referenced in Article 1. That's called the Article 1 Congress of the United States, which means not a part of the United States. They're actually not in the United States. They are outside the United States because they make legislation. It says they make law. They make legalese. They don't make law. So, but they're so poorly educated, and their civil attorney schools are so bad that they don't even understand the difference in their mind. And I actually got this in writing from a probate court where they actually said that there's one law, civil law, that's the only law. So this came right out of a court administrator from a civil court that said that. That's what they actually believe. They actually believe that. That's how dumb they are. So what he's doing is he did not sign the ethics and all the other federal documents. He didn't sign them. He's not taking their money. He's not taking federal money, not taking federal funds. And nobody that works for him is taking federal funds. Okay? Not from them. So, because he doesn't work for the federal government, he doesn't work for the maritime jurisdiction, which is out in the maritime territory in the Western Pacific under the Federated States of Micronesia, which is a part of the United Mexican States, not the Republic of Mexico. So what he's doing is he's drawing them out by doing all these things, and they are screaming that he's violating federal law. Violating federal law, violating federal law, violating federal law, right? But they're not smart enough to know that federal law is not supreme law. That general law is superior to federal law. Equity law is superior to federal law. And trade treaties, like the USMCA treaty, is superior to federal law. And they have been ignoring the USMCA treaty since it was passed. It was agreed upon in November of 2019. It was delivered to Congress in March of 2020, and it was agreed upon in July of 2020. And the USMCA treaty comes out of its grace period July of 2025. Congress gets a hold of it in July of 2025. So that's why all this stuff's happening really fast. But what he's doing is he's drawing them out. He's drawing out Congress. He's drawing out who's the federal government, who's saying federal law, federal law. They're screaming federal law. And they're filing cases in their own federal law. But because we're under the old republic, under Marbury versus Madison, it says no man can be the judge of his own cause. Marbury versus Madison, which means the federal government, who's supposed to be equal to the President of the United States as a separation of powers, cannot file in their own court to get a determination. So they have to go to a higher court, and they're going to go to the International Court of Arbitration at The Hague. The federal government is going to have to file at The Hague for arbitration, and the seat of the President of the United States is going to have to file at The Hague, and they are going to have to go under the USMCA treaty to determine if what he's doing is actually within his boundaries in a full separation of powers from the judicial branch, acting as the judicial branch of the American Republic, which is The Hague now, the President of the United States as its own independent separation of powers, and quote unquote federal government. And that's what I see happening. And that's where I think this is headed. So that's my opinion, based on how I understand the law to work as an International Bar Association member, and I am a member of the arbitration committee for the International Bar Association, and I'm on the North American Forum. So that's what I see happening. That's my opinion. All right, that's my international lawyer opinion. God bless, Godspeed, or barrister opinion.